Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.
Hello. Hey everyone. How you doing? Welcome to today's live about death astrology. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, Barbara Collins. How you doing? And Joe White. Welcome. I'm glad you're all here. We're just getting started. We're just getting out of the gate. And so today I'm going to be talking about death astrology, which is a pretty powerful type of reading. Hi, Bianca. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So first of all, let's start with astrology, because some people don't really understand the power of astrology. If you haven't had your astrology chart done, you should get it done. Like, you should have your natal chart read. Like, you're missing a huge thing, because your astrology chart is your map to life. So if you're not checking the map, okay, so you're probably going to make some wrong turns, and you want to better understand yourself. It's also really good therapy, because a lot of people give themselves a really hard time about who they are, and it turns out that that part of you is in your astrology chart. It's who you are. It's okay. We're not here to erase that or tell you that it's wrong or anything like that. And so a lot of times people are like, that's in my astrology chart? And I'll be like, yeah. So you're supposed to be that way. Hello. And that's where people have profound openings. It's saved my life. It's totally made me come to a better understanding of myself and others. Helps me also understand why the world seems to be going wrong at any given time. So astrology in itself is a deeper understanding of life. Barbara, you would have a hard time reading it, because, it takes like 25 years to learn astrology, so I'm not surprised that you have your chart, but you have trouble reading it. That's what an astrologer is. That's why we spend years and years learning how to read it. So your astrology chart is meant to be your it's meant to be a key to helping you understand yourself, your relationships, what happens, including the people that have died. It's also supposed to help you understand death. And that's where death astrology comes in, okay? Death astrology is simply the astrology at the moment of the person's death. That's all. So we look at their birth chart and their death chart so that we can see, um, exactly, exactly like what their life was about, where they were going, and how, maybe how far they made it, or other things like that. Those are really important pieces to an astrology chart. And that's what an astrology death chart is that it's a basic look at the stars at the time of the person's death. And then now what I do is a very different type of reading. Welcome, Beth. Hi, Beth and Marie in the Mediums group. Hi, Beth. Beth Wetstein and Marie Grattan. And hi, Jennifer Brown. Good evening. Hi, Kristen Naves. And it's really... so death astrology sort of shines the light on it helps you more understand the death. And that's why I started doing it. As a medium myself, I was constantly doing these readings, and I was also doing astrology chart readings. And I started seeing that, like, some of the clients that were a medium, they liked my medium readings. They would come back for an astrology reading later. And I started being like, well, look at that. Pluto's in your 7th house and you lost your partner. And I started noticing things that sort of drew out what happened to them. Okay, like the death or whatever. And so then now there is a portion, so like you can study regular Western astrology, and then there's like medical astrology, there's death astrology, there's mundane astrology. I'm not very good at mundane astrology. I'm just not very good at it. I'm not very good at predicting what a normal person will do. But I'm pretty good at helping you spiritually and deeply and emotionally understand who that person was in your life, why they were in your life. And this counts for toxic relationships, good relationships, doesn't matter. It will all be there. I can help you understand why they died when they did. If I can help you understand what was going on for them at the time of the death. Like, did they know they were going to die? Did it happen out of nowhere? Those kinds of things. That'll all be in the chart. It will also help you understand that oftentimes death is destined. A lot of the times. Okay? We're supposed to die. Like, people feel like people will say things like, well, I didn't expect them to die. And I'm like, well, when did you expect them to die? Because at some point, everyone's going to die. None of us get out of this alive. But it's a weird thing because people, they'll tell me that their 95-year-old grandfather died and they just couldn't believe it. And I'm kind of like, well. And sometimes while it might seem like untimely, it's meant to be. Okay? And I can help you understand that. I can also look every now and again, a death won't be destined. Maybe they chose their death. A lot of times suicide is not. And then a lot of times and death astrology could be more, death astrology will show like that a window opened and they took it. But that's a little difference. Hi, Carol. And hi, Debbie Anderson from Australia. Welcome. Tiffany, thank you. You know it. Tiffany said, I can't wait to be able to get a reading from you. Thanks. I soon, hopefully, it'll change my life. I know it for the better, of course. Well, hopefully, Tiffany, it will just help you love yourself a little bit more and be more kind to yourself, which I think we could all use. Um, you're welcome, Marie. You're welcome, Marie. Hi, Ella. How you doing? Hi, Nancy. Ella said, "What happened to my dad?" I don't know what happened to your dad. Jennifer says, "I'm severely scared of death. I don't understand what's wrong with me." Jennifer, it might actually be the current transit with Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn, and you might have some Capricorn placements, or it might be something in your chart. It could be a number of things. It could be a past life thing, but we could definitely, it will show in your astrology chart one way or another. Jen Dunworth said, "You are Art Grace. I'm great to see you again." It's great to have you here, Jen. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Makwa. Hey, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Stephanie. Hi there. Barbara, I'm sorry about your husband. Hi, Wenna. Hi. Yeah, Joe White. Got some good vibes for you, Joe. Yep. Isn't that funny how people know that, Joe? Isn't that funny? Isn't that strange how people know that they won't make it to old age? And I think it's because they're sensing something that was destined. So I think you know it's destined too, right? Hi, Stephanie. And Siobhan and Joe White is saying, "Thanks, Barbara. Hugs." This is mostly a question and answer about death astrology, Stephanie. Used to be obsessed with dying. That's interesting, Brandy. I bet there's something in your chart about that. Yeah, you definitely knew, and that's the part that is sort of fascinating to me. So, Jade said, "I want an astrology reading, but I want to hear from my loved ones too. Do I pick the astrology with mediumship option when I book?" Yeah, let's start there, Jade, and then you can always book a pure medium reading afterwards if you want. Jen said, "Did I make the right decision with my mom?" That's a good question to ask the astrology chart. The astrology chart would be able to tell you that. Joe, it will tell you how you'll die in the astrology chart. It won't tell you when, but it will tell you how. It won't be accurate when. Okay? You would love to be a death doula, Makwa. Yeah, death doula is definitely, it's in your chart. I don't remember your chart exactly, Makwa. I do a lot of astrology charts, but if I told you it was, then it is. Death doula work, mediumship work, even transformation through death will be in the chart. So when someone passes in your life, I take two charts. I take your chart and their chart, and I put them together, and then I see how they interact, okay? And a lot of times when I also take the person that passed, I also take their chart along with the moment their death chart, which is when they died, and their birth chart, which is when they were born. And then what you do is you put the two together, and you can look and see their life path, and a lot of times you can see other things that were meant to be. And sometimes if you add your chart on top of that, it will also show, oh, okay, so they were meant to pass at that time in that way in order to push you over an edge that catalysted you to spirituality or to learn how to connect to the other side, is an example. Okay? And that will be in the chart. And I can read that with all the symbols. Joe White, would there be a meaning behind my husband passing on my birthday? Probably. I would guess you guys have some sort of soul contract. So there's some sort of special thing about that day that you're probably trying to work out. So while it might be your birthday in this lifetime, maybe in a past life it was something else. So I wouldn't be surprised if like your South Node is conjunct your Sun or something. South Node is a marking on your chart for your past lives, or maybe your Sun's in the 12th house or something. Those are all indicators that your birth, the moment you came through in life, has something to do with the past date. So maybe in a past life you died on that day. Or maybe in a past life, you met your loved one on that day. Maybe you had a baby on that day. Maybe you took someone's life on that day. Okay? It's hard to say, and it will be best if I look at the chart. Hi, Alyssa. But those are some examples. It could be any of those things. I'd have to look. Hi, Alyssa. How you doing? This is about death astrology. Okay, so Barbara said, my husband passed on our daughter's 15th birthday. Isn't that fascinating when that happens? He talked about her birthday the whole week before he passed. He kept telling her happy birthday the week before and said, I just want to make sure I tell you. Now, isn't that interesting? And that also tells us that he, somewhere inside, he knew it was time for him to go. And that maybe there's something special about your daughter's birthday. Maybe it has some importance in your soul contract with your daughter and you and him. And, you know, you would be fascinated at how connected we are with each other. Like the way the astrology lines up is absolutely mind-blowing. I am blown away every time I see it. I'm like, there it is again. There it goes again. It is, without fail, people are always connected in some way. Okay? Barbara said that he was in a deep sleep in the last 3 days. I'm sorry about that, Barbara. Yeah. I will say that the death chart astrology reading is really, really good for people that have experienced someone passing, okay? It helps you with grief. So then Jade said, if it tells us how, and it's medical related, will we mess up the natural process of things if we try and take care of whatever the health related issue is? No, Jade, you won't. Isn't that fascinating? Because, like, well, you could alter. So let's say, for instance, we'll use my chart as an example. In my chart, I have Mars in the 8th house and my Sun is afflicted. So that means I will probably die suddenly of a heart attack. Okay? When, we don't know, but when is the question. Okay? But we know how. Okay? So, and that's okay. But I could have passed recently, but I didn't because I went to the doctors and got the treatment and am still getting the treatments for my heart. So then I may extend my time here. It is a choice to go to the doctor, follow the doctor's orders, get the surgeries, get the correction. Those are choices, okay? And those choices will lead me to a longer life, right? So yeah, there are choices that you can make that could change the date, but it probably won't change the how. Okay? Okay, Carol said, with what you do you ever run into loved ones that will not pass on? Is your type of reading, can you tune into that? What type of a medium helps with that? I think any medium can pick that up, Carol, and that almost never happens. And most of the time, the spirit is maybe connected to a place, but most of the time that happens when, like, sometimes they don't know that they died and they just need to be told. And you just direct them towards the light and they go. Now, there are some mediums out there that will say that your loved one hasn't completely crossed over because blah, blah, blah. But I would not say that. 30 years experience, I would say that there are different vibrations with different people. So someone that takes their life might feel a little different than a person that did good things their whole life and then died. Their energy, their soul on the other side is going to feel different, right? Okay? And so what some inexperienced mediums will do is they'll say, oh, well, he hasn't passed on well enough, or he's not completely on the other side and I'm unable to connect with him. And that's not quite accurate. That's inexperience talking there. So if someone told you that, it's probably just because they're learning. They're probably new. Hopefully you didn't pay for the reading. All mediums can connect with any spirit, and I'm capable of connecting with a spirit that is still here on the earth plane. But that happens like maybe 1 in a million? Probably not to your loved one, Carol. But if I was doing their astrology chart reading, yeah, I would be able to tell. I would be able to intuitively feel that they hadn't crossed over yet and that they might need to be directed towards the light. The number one reason spirits don't cross over all the way to the other side is because they're stuck here on the earth plane. They're usually like stuck on some city street where they were shot or stabbed or something. Or they're stuck in some house or something. Carly Scott asked, does it matter if we don't know the exact time he died? I didn't find him until hours after he passed, so his death certificate says a certain time, but that's not really the time he passed. That's fine, Carly. What's more important is birth time, actually. So what I like to say is that the time makes it more accurate. And that's just what I'm saying. Okay? So, I don't necessarily need the exact time that he passed. It helps, but it's not necessary. His birth time is more important. I'd rather you spend time hunting that down. And it's so, I might ask you for both of those times, Carly. Like, sometimes people are put on, like, life support, for instance. I might ask you, when was he put on life support? Just to look and see if he was already passed at that point. Okay? So sometimes people might get stuck in, like, in between if they're on life support. But then as soon as you let them pass, they go. Okay? So it's not a big deal. Sometimes you just hold on to them for a couple of extra days. Okay? Okay, so Jen, you can book with me. Jen, I don't do that. You should never send money through Zelle or PayPal or anything. I don't do that, Jen. I need it to come through my business appropriately because I run a legitimate business. And so we don't do that. You can book at divineandrogen.com. All right. So I have divineandrogen.com and I have psychicinsights.life, which is where people of course, work with me and we do readings together. No one should ever pay for a reading over Zelle or PayPal or anything like that. And if you do, you're being scammed. Okay? We don't do that. I'm a legitimate business, and what makes me legitimate is the fact that I have a business PayPal account, a business Stripe account, which means that I give them I pay taxes on the money that I make, just like you do. And so I'm not into paying any other way. I'd wish that you would just book at the website. Okay, so that's what that is. Let's go on to the next question. LJ Smith asked, how do we connect to the other side? Well, although that has zero to do with death astrology, I will tell you that tomorrow I have a class. Yeah, tomorrow I have a class. And if you want to book that class, you can, first of all, find it in the events of any group or page that you're on. It will show you how to, the class is about connecting to the other side. That's exactly what it's about. It is how to connect to the other side. And that will be tomorrow evening. Let me get you that link. There's also a practice class later on this month. But tomorrow is a connection class, how to connect to the other side. Okay? And I'll put it in the comments. This is the class. You can just sign up right there at that, and that will let you do that. Let me try to reply to your message, LJ. You can sign up right there. The class will be very basic. It's about 90 minutes long, and it will teach you all about how to connect to the other side. It's very basic. So Jennifer Brown said, I thought my mother's death had a meaning, like for me to learn something. Heck, I don't know. I'm all over the place with this. I agree, Jennifer. That's probably absolutely true. And that would be in your death chart, in your mom's death astrology chart. Yeah, Kristen, I can know what I would ask. Kristen says, what happens if I don't know exactly when my husband died? And apparently I'll never know. Can you still help me? The answer is yes. Is your husband murdered? Because I'll be able to see some of that in there. I'll be able to see who and not, maybe I might be able to see the connection to who and why it happened. Okay. Jennifer, your mom told you a couple of weeks before she died, everyone dies. I was so upset. Well, it sounds like your mom was speaking truth. Okay. So Jade Alyssa said, my stillbirth was, wait a minute. Oops. My stillbirth was ruled as undetermined. They don't know exactly why it happened. Will an astrology chart be able to give the, yep. I'll probably be able to see that, like what in your health may have triggered it, especially if you have the time of death for your child. That's medical astrology. That's a little different. Doctors don't use that anymore, but they used to, and I've studied it. They used to do it in the 1800s. They used to use astrology for health, as doctors did. Can everyone's spirit be reached? Yes, Jennifer. Yep. And everybody can, and everyone, so can everyone's spirit be reached? The answer is yes. Okay. Every spirit is on the other side, so every spirit can be reached. And there's no limit as to when, except for the medium might put limitations on it. But it's possible, at least for me, to connect with any spirit. Jennifer, your mom and dad are not stuck. It's not happening. Hi, Nicole. Okay, Carly. He was a suicide, so it's a little difficult. That's okay, Carly. Suicides will give me I still get a lot of insight to suicides. Suicides are pretty important. meaning that they, when you look at the death chart of a person in suicide, it will show you the emotional whatever they were going through at the time. It'll show you the details of that and everything. Marie said, my dad's death certificate just has the date he died. That's fine, Marie. That's fine. Okay. Carrie said, isn't this funny? This is funny. Carrie says, what do you do when trying to read astrology charts on people that were born a long time ago, where their birth times weren't recorded because maybe they were born at home? What do you do? Okay, so first of all, you don't have to have the time to read the chart. You can just not read into their rising sign. It won't be as accurate as it is if you have the time of birth. But the other interesting thing about that is that long ago, most people did record the time. You just might not know it because you might not be looking at the right document. But it was actually more common. But sometimes people that were born in like the 1920s and stuff, they started to really reboot or kick back on astrology because astrology was used for medicine back then. And in the early 1900s, at the age of science, people started to say, oh no, we don't do astrology. And they started to say that it was fake, right? Okay. Jen, I completely understand. Thank you. I hope your son and family are well. They are. Thank you for asking. Okay. So, LJ, it depends on who died. So, that's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about if somebody passed in your life, then you want to get a death reading with them. And a death chart reading is the reading of someone else's death. Okay, so, I mean, I can tell you how you might pass in a regular reading, but I won't be able to tell you when. It's not accurate as to when, okay? But I'm going to give you a link where you can book the death chart reading. Okay, there you go, LJ. Okay, Kristen. The fact that he went missing 4 months earlier, hopefully you have that date. I would probably also ask you for that date. The time is unnecessary, but just to see why he might have disappeared. Okay, what might have happened in that moment. I can see a lot more than you think, Kristen. I can see a lot going on in the astrology. How does birth time work with a stillbirth? Because technically there isn't a time of birth in the eyes of the medical field. Agreed, Jade. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Just tell me what time about, to the best of your knowledge, that you were in the hospital and they told you you had a stillbirth. Even if it's just when they told you. Okay? That's fine. It's unimportant. I can totally read the child's chart without the time. Okay? There's so much more than just talking to people who pass. It's amazing and mind-blowing. I agree, Steffi. Like, I think that the other side is fascinating, and I'm constantly asking questions about death and the other side, so hopefully I'll be able to get a book started here soon. Jennifer said, I'm definitely booking with you soon. Holidays make it hard with some extra money, but Hollis, you're definitely the one. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Okay, Carly said, okay, awesome. His death has really done a number on me, and maybe I can understand it more. I would say yes, Carly. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You could understand it. It's very helpful for people that have suffered through, like, like suicide and um, like disappearance and murder and yeah. Just bring all that information with you, Jen. I'll look at the charts later after this live. I look forward to the reading tomorrow with you, Jen, tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Yes, Marie, I can tell you what he died from. Yep, exactly, Marie. I can tell you. That's medical astrology. So I have a combination of death astrology, natal astrology, which is just birth chart reading, and death astrology, natal chart, and medical. So I've studied all three so that I can, look deeply into it. I have lots of things with pets, Rob and Lindsay. I do pet readings. And also I can draw up an astrology chart for your pet. I sure can. Steffi, I'm nervous to know how I'll die. I hope I'm here to watch when my child grows. I just want to let everybody know that, like, if you think a lot about death, it could just be like some transit you're having right now, and you're meant to reflect about death, just so that you're more grateful for your life. So I'm just gonna say, if you find yourself kind of obsessing over death or something, that's probably what's going on. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't see the gross person. Scammers. So I will never message you. If someone comments on here, they do it like 10 times a day. They'll copycat my page. So just if someone messages you first and says they want to talk to your ancestors or some shit, just block, delete, okay? Like, just don't even waste any energy on it, okay? It's a scammer. It's definitely a scammer, Barbara. Good job. Good job. Akin is definitely. Okay, so I gotta block them. Samantha said, do you ever do a natal chart reading full out with a death chart reading as like an add-on? That's exactly what I'm talking about, Samantha. That's exactly what I do. That's exactly my reading. So I do a natal chart reading for the person that's died, and then I add on their death chart, so then you can see their whole life. And then we add your natal chart on top of it, and you get sort of a taste. Now, I would recommend that if you want a full natal chart reading, that we spend time on that. But I'll give you some. I'll give you about 15 minutes. It's about 15 minutes of natal chart reading. Okay? Some are immortal. I don't know about that, Wenna. Okay. My uncle passed from cancer. A scan was read along with which may have prevented it spreading to his lungs. Okay. Would a chart show if he was going to pass anyway, or that mistake is what's... But yep, exactly, Stephanie. Yep, it will show. It will show that. Akin is a scammer. Okay. Just block them. Just block them. Yeah, Joe White, a real reader will never message you first. You have to come to us, right? That's why I'm on this live. And if you want to book with me, you have to go to my website and book with me. Okay, and that's how you know that's how you know it's safe, because you have to seek me out. You have to be like, oh, I seen Hollis's live, and I'm really interested in that death chart reading. I'm going to go to their website, and I'm going to book right now that reading. I will never message you. Never. Okay? It just doesn't happen. Real readers never do. Oh my God, Jenny, get you a reading. They could be immortal. No, probably not. My husband passed from cancer also. By the time we found out, it had already spread and chemo made him too sick. Chemo sucks. Okay. Uh, right. Okay. So I'm sorry that happened to your husband, Joe. I'm sorry. Hi, Barbara. Oh, Chris. Is this person a scammer? They must be a scammer. If they're calling you beloved, they've got to be a scammer. Okay. So if they're calling you beloved, they're probably a scammer. Barbara, I think it's just under $100. It's like about an hour. Hi, Kiki. Chris is definitely a scammer. Block. I'm sorry. That sucks, Barbara. All right. Well, we're glad that I've gotten rid of Chris the scammer. Yeah. There's probably something, Barbara, that you're meant to like take from this whole ordeal. Okay? And that's exactly what an astrology chart reading can help you with. Thank you, Siobhan. How very sweet. Oh my gosh, we have another scammer. Good grief, man. They're kind of like little leeches, aren't they? They're just like, oh man, they just Falling you is a scammer. In case you guys didn't figure it out, okay? Duh. Yeah, like sending love and prayers to you and your family. And I seen somebody have a message for you at the heaven, and it's important to your life. Listen to them. They don't even sound English. Are you ready for your private reading and spirit message? Send me a friend request now. Guess what? A real reader will never do that. Never. Don't fall for it, guys. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. Just block them, Barbara. Just block them. Just click block. All right. They're mostly just like kind of annoying little leeches. Like it's like when you go swimming in waters that has leeches, if you've ever done that. And then you're like, oh my God, there's another leech on my ankle. Right? Okay. It's kind of like that. I think I answered your question, Barbara. It's about $100. Is it possible that our charts don't indicate? No. No, user super freak accidents are usually marked by Uranus. And murders are marked by someone else's, by like Mars or Uranus or both. Yeah. No, Alyssa, I've never had that happen. It's never happened. All right. And it's always urgent. Right, Lynette? Isn't that funny? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Scammers. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It was like all of a sudden we got bombarded with scammers, but I think we're done now. November month last week, my wife delivery. Doctor told critical issues for my wife and baby during delivery. Please tell. That doesn't. So you can book a reading with me at divineandrogen.com. All right, so let's take a look if there's any more questions. I agree, Steffi. It's so annoying. My pronouns are they, them, Steffi. I am non-binary queer. I am a natural trans person. Oh my God, Jade said, I always reply to scammers and ask them if they want my credit card number and social before I block them. And they mess with me. I get their hopes all up. That's hilarious, Jade. That's great. Man, that's got to leave you laughing. Um, oh, man. So, yeah, so, death astrology is really powerful, I think, as a healing tool because, first of all, things don't just happen for no reason. Y'all get that, right? Like, most things, even bad things, are happening for a reason. They're either karmic or, there's some lesson, there's some soul contract. It could be a million different things. And when we look at the astrology of our natal chart or death astrology, we learn very quickly that as much as we like to think that our lives are completely in our hands, they are, but at the same time, there's also a lot that's been written for us. We agreed to live this life. Oh my gosh, Joe, it's 2:45 a.m. in the UK. Good night. Sleep well, Joe. The good news is if you ever book at my site and you go through the calendar, it will automatically convert the time for you. So then it's not going to be at 2 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, like you can, the beautiful thing about astrology is it usually validates half of what you're feeling anyway, or that you suspect in your belly. It will also show you past life connections and future life connections. It will show you how you're connected to that person and what you taught them and what they taught you. Astrology is fascinating, and it will help you understand yourself more. If you get a natal chart reading, that's what happens. Is you're like, is that why I do that? Let me stop doing that as right away. Or let me do that in a different way. And I think what ends up happening is that we live a life that is more meaningful because we're not walking around going, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? We're not doing that. So it's important that we not do that. Okay? So, because there's nothing wrong with you. I assure you. Whatever you think is wrong with you is probably in the astrology chart. Steffi said, love you with rainbow hearts. Thanks, Steffi. Good to know. I love that I'm so glad people aren't afraid to be who they are. Thanks, Steffi. Thanks, I appreciate that. I am who I am, and it's in my chart. How about that? Yes, queerness is in the chart. We are meant to be queer. We are meant to be transgender. It's in there. It's all in there. You just have to look for it. Does astrology charts tell you if you're in the right career? Yes. Yeah, absolutely, Jade. Partnership, yes. Things like that. It does everything from identity, money and values, community, siblings, your home of origin, the house you grew up in, your romance, creativity, children, your day-to-day life, your work in the world, what your day-to-day looks like, your relationships, but all relationships, romantic, friendship, business. It also tells you about death, like I said, and also like taboo, like your sexuality, It can also tell you about like psychic abilities or your connection to the occult, and your shadow, the parts of you that you don't want to talk about. It can talk about your spirituality, help you on your spiritual path, understanding who you are and where you're going. And at the top of the chart, there's also your MC, which tells you about what you're meant to offer the world, what in the world you're to bring through, whether it's a gift that you do for work or not. It just is what you're bringing to the world. It doesn't have to be your job. It could just be something that you do. It also is about the people that you know and the people you're connected to and why you know those people and how are those people in your life, and even the things that you don't see about yourself that other people see, as well as your connection to institutions, and the system, and even higher education, and even self-sabotage, and who you are and who you're meant to be and who you're meant to grow into, and your destiny. That's what your astrology chart has in it. Which I think might be everything. So, Makwa said, 100% on the natal chart. I'll 1,000% vouch for that. Mine was awesome and validated the heck out of me. And I think that's the most beautiful part. Thanks, Makwa, for saying that. But honestly, I think that's the best part of astrology. And it's not just me. It's like, yeah, I can do it and I'm willing to do it. I'm still building a name for myself as an astrologer. So right now, I don't charge as much as some astrologers. Some professional, really good astrologers that I've learned from, they charge like $500 an hour, $800 an hour. Ann Ortley is $800 an hour. Seriously. And people pay it. Okay? So, it's not for me. I'm not charging that much. I'm only charging $100. Okay? So, just saying. Okay, I'm not famous. Ann Ortley is a famous astrologer. She's famous for predictive astrology. She's very good at mundane astrology. I'm terrible at mundane astrology. And I haven't, she's gotten sick, so I haven't been able to learn from her very much. But maybe I should learn more from her. Okay? So I'm trying to get better at mundane astrology, but maybe I'm not supposed to be good at mundane astrology. Okay? Steffi said, my grandfather was amazing, has an amazing boyfriend. I'm so proud of him for being honest. Love is love. That's right, Steffi, and that's how this medium group is. This medium group is very LGBTQ friendly. The whole group is. So you won't have that problem here. The whole group, I'm the admin of the group. So, of course, I lead with my queerness. So if you hate queers, you don't belong in my group. It's just that. That's that. It's just no other question to it. I'm not messing with you. So queers are welcome in this group. It's a very LGBTQ page. You can see in my logo there. First of all, my name is wow, you see that? Anyway, my website, Divine Androgen, is Divine Androgen is a sacred path for transgender people. I have a book called Divine Androgen, a sacred path for gender variant people. But Divine Androgen is an ancient term from alchemy used to describe transgender. Well, it wasn't necessarily for transgender people, but that's who it ends up being about, because it was about people that got in touch with the masculine and feminine within themselves and expressed themselves through divinity, and divinity guided them, and that's what makes them, that's like their divine calling. Okay? So that's Divine Androgen. And then I also run the site psychicinsights.life. That's my wife and I run that. She does a lot of the back end work, but I also do it. psychicinsights.life, which sort of dominates the group. So even if people don't want to come to me, there's other mediums. There's even another gender variant person. Jamie Angel is gender variant and also happens to live in a wheelchair. And then there's Mama Cole and me and Sarah and Nicole Hoop. And we are all LGBTQ friendly. You have to be LGBTQ friendly to work with me. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand stuff. I don't understand the problem with transgender people. So, I think it's weird. In fact, here's a little secret. People that obsess over transgender people or LGBTQ people or anything like that, they're probably in the closet. Like, some people are like, I don't care, whatever, Hollis, you're gay, whatever, right? And those people are probably just fine. They're straight. But the people that, like, want to come out and, like, attack us and are constantly obsessing over it, that's a sign. So anyone that does that, I'm like, are you homophobic? And then if they're homophobic, of course, we know that means that they're gay. Okay? So, or they have some sort of tendency, something within them that is making them uncomfortable. And that's why they're uncomfortable with me. So, that's actually our calling as divine androgens, is for us to do that. It's actually in the astrology chart. So, like, if you look at the astrology chart of LGBTQ people, it's the way they express it will be different, and that will show up differently, but it will show. LGBTQ people will show. Thanks, Steffi. Makwa is laughing, just rolling on the floor. Because it's true, y'all. Like, most people that are comfortable in themselves, they could care less if I'm trans. They're just like, you're trans. Oh, okay. They're like, oh, okay, you're gay. Okay. Right? Like, they just... So I'm always laughing at like politicians and stuff that obsess over it, because I'm like, okay, they must be gay. They're hiding it from everyone. That's what you learn, friends. So, my friends, as we tie up the rest of the evening, I hope you enjoyed this night. I hope you've enjoyed this talk about, see, Jade, Alyssa says, I'm a very unbothered person. A human is a human. Right, Jade. But you're probably also comfortable with who you are. Okay? So, Steffi said, before I got married, I told everyone in my family, it doesn't matter their gender. I love who I love. If we click, we're good. Haha. That's right. I agree. I've been married to a man. It was unfortunate, but I did marry a man. And now I'm not married to a man. And I'm very happy to not be married to a man. Okay? So, I have a kid. He's 30. He's married to a woman. He has 2 kids. Okay? So, it's more normal than you think it is. And it's been around for a long time. Anyway, so... I hope all of you have a great night. You have a beautiful day tomorrow. Tomorrow is that class. Don't forget about the class. If you want to learn how to connect, even for personal reasons, shoot, let me get that class for you. That is the connection class, and that is tomorrow. You can book at any time if you'd like. It's just $22. That's all it is. It's a connection class, and I'll teach you some basics about connecting. And thanks, Steffi. Steffi said I look so young. Well, Steffi, you know. um, so maybe it's because I'm happy. So I just put the link, LJ Smith, for the class, which is just $22. And that's the how to connect to the other side. And then the one-of-a-kind death chart reading. You will not find this reading anywhere else. I promise you. You will not find it. I'm the only person that combines the two together, mediumship and astrology, that I've been able to find. Okay? So, and I've searched, I've looked, because I wanted to talk to the people that did it. Just to see, what we have in common. Anyway, it's called a death chart reading. It's a beautiful reading. Oh, that's weird, Jade, huh? You're showing up as clickable here for me. I don't know. I don't know why. But you could just go to divineandrogen.com, which is also up on the screen, and see if you can find everything, the class and the death chart reading. If you just click book now, it will take you to a list of everything I'm offering, and you'll be able to book that. So there's a class tomorrow night. I hope to see you there. I am looking forward to it. I know it's going to be a blast. And every class, you can look up reviews in the group. If you're new to the group, look up reviews. Look up reviews for the class, and you'll see a bunch of reviews for the last couple of classes. Okay, Bianca's holding us to it. You didn't post the forecast for this week. I know, Bianca. I bet you can guess why. So don't worry about saying anything. I'm honored that you said anything, that you even noticed. So, number one, I had surgery Thursday. So we didn't get to it that fast. And then number two, my spouse has been having a hard time with her back. That's number two. And number three, the current affairs have not exactly been easy. And I really, we've just had a very challenging week. But we do plan to try to do it tomorrow, Bianca. And we'll do it just for you. All right? So while we might be late, I'm sorry. Please forgive us. I just had gallbladder surgery, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But they called me in last minute, and I had to get it done. Okay? So I've been waiting for a long time to get it done. Just way longer than you can imagine. So, no worries about asking. I appreciate that you even noticed. Thanks for noticing, Bianca. It makes us feel like it's worth posting, and we need to post it tomorrow. Okay, so look out for it tomorrow. We'll post it tomorrow. We have the charts out. We just have to do it. So we'll probably do it as a live tomorrow. Okay, Bianca? As we try to catch up, we'll do this week's, and then we'll try to do next week's on the weekend. Okay? All right, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's Death Astrology reading, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Tomorrow, Mama Cole, tomorrow, Mama Cole is live? Yeah, I think tomorrow Mama Cole is live, and then Friday is the class. My fault. Friday night is the class. Okay, so tomorrow Mama Cole is doing free live readings. Mama Cole is also doing a class this month about how to use the pendulum to connect. So if you're a pendulum user and you want to know how to use it to connect to the other side, there'll be a class later, and it will have practice and everything. Okay, and we're also having a practice circle later for any mediums that are learning how to be mediums. Okay? All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. Good night. Bye-bye.
Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.